Good evening. This is Akashvani and I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is emerging as a leading force in the global space and aviation sectors, addresses plenary session of the World Air Transport Summit in New Delhi. India and Paraguay to further strengthen ties in many sectors including clean energy, green hydrogen and biofuels. Centre notifies guidelines for scheme to promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars in the country. Heavy rain disrupts normal life in northeastern states. Relief and rescue operations underway. Second round of Russia-Ukraine peace talks conclude in Istanbul. Both sides to explore more prisoner exchange opportunities. Independent candidate Karol Nawrocki wins Poland's presidential elections. And International Cricket Council announces schedule for Women's ODI World Cup to be played by India and Sri Lanka. Prime Minister has highlighted that India is emerging as a global leader in space aviation convergence. Addressing the International Air Transport Association, IATA's 81st Annual General Meeting and plenary session of the World Air Transport Summit at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi today, the Prime Minister remarked the civil aviation sector has witnessed historic advancements over the past decade, which are well recognized.
ये कार्यक्रम 4 दशक बाद भारत में हो रहा है। इन 4 दशकों में भारत में बहुत कुछ बदल चुका है। आज का भारत पहले से कहीं ज्यादा आत्मविश्वास से भरा हुआ है। ग्लोबल एविएशन इकोसिस्टम में हम न केवल एक विशाल मार्केट है, बल्कि पॉलिसी लीडरशिप, इनोवेशन और इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट के प्रतीक भी है।
Mr. Modi said that the success of the Uran scheme is a golden chapter in Indian civil aviation, and now India has become the world's third largest domestic aviation market. He underscored India's role in the global aviation ecosystem, not only as a vast market, but also as a symbol of policy leadership, innovation and inclusive development. Mr. Modi highlighted that discussions at the summit will provide new direction to global aviation, unlocking its infinite possibilities and optimizing its potential.
ये डायलॉग एविएशन के साथ ही ग्लोबल कोऑपरेशन, क्लाइमेट कमिटमेंट्स और इक्विटेबल ग्रोथ के शेयर्ड एजेंडा को आगे बढ़ाने का एक माध्यम भी है। इस समिट में आप जो चर्चा कर रहे हैं, उससे ग्लोबल एविएशन को नई दिशा मिलेगी। मुझे विश्वास है हम इस सेक्टर की इन्फिनिट पॉसिबिलिटीज को टैप कर पाएंगे, उन्हें और बेहतर ढंग से यूटिलाइज कर पाएंगे।
Speaking on the occasion, Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu said that the government is committed to develop 50 more airports in the next 5 years in the country. He said the number of airports, which was only 74 in the country in 2014, has now gone up to 162, including 33 international airports. The International Air Transport Association event, which commenced yesterday, will culminate tomorrow. India and Paraguay have decided to further strengthen their ties in the sectors like clean energy, green hydrogen and biofuels. The decision was taken during the delegation-level talks held between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Paraguay President Santiago Peña Palacios in New Delhi today. Both the countries also expressed their commitment to overcome the menace of cybercrime, organized crime, drug trafficking. Speaking on this occasion, Prime Minister Modi said, India and Paraguay are together in the fight against terrorism.
मेरा विश्वास है कि आपसी सहयोग से हम साझी समृद्धि का मार्ग प्रशस्त करेंगे। हमारे पास आर्थिक सहयोग सहित डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स, ऊर्जा, कृषि, स्वास्थ्य, डिफेंस, रेलवे तथा स्पेस जैसे क्षेत्रों में सहयोग के नए अवसर हैं। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ाई में भारत और पैराग्वे कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर खड़े हैं।
Later, addressing the media about the meeting between the two leaders, Secretary East and External Affairs Ministry P. Kumaran said a memorandum of understanding was signed between India and Paraguay for establishment of joint commission mechanism between the two nations. Mr. Palacios is on a 3-day state visit to India. The government has notified the guidelines for a scheme to promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars in the country. Briefing the media in New Delhi today, Heavy Industries Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy said that India is offering including low import tax, which is 15% on electric cars, worth at least $35,000 to attract big international car brands. He added that this benefit is only available if the companies agree to invest and manufacture electric vehicles in the country. Mr. Kumaraswamy said that approved applicants would be required to make a minimum investment of 4,150 crore rupees in line with the provision of the scheme. The minister said that until now, Mercedes-Benz, Kia, Hyundai and Skoda have shown interest in the scheme. Union Home Minister and Minister of Cooperation Amit Shah today chaired a review meeting of the world's largest cooperative food grain storage scheme in New Delhi. Addressing the meeting, Mr. Shah said that food grain storage scheme is a big step towards realizing the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Sehkar Se Samriddhi. He said the scheme aims to increase the income of primary agricultural credit societies as well as create rural employment opportunities. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on X handle at AIR News Alerts. And for details of stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and download news on AIR app. Heavy rain and floods have disrupted normal life in northeastern states. The Indian Meteorological Department IMD has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places over Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura tomorrow. In Assam, flood situation remained grim today with the water levels rising in many parts of the state. Around 4 lakh people are reeling under the deluge across 17 districts. A total of 758 villages and 54 revenue circles were affected due to flood, and over 3,500 hectares of crop areas have been damaged across the state. According to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, number of deaths due to flood and landslides in the state has risen to 10. The state government has opened 52 relief camps and 103 relief distribution centers in all the flood-affected districts, and SDRF teams have also been deployed for rescue and relief operations.
Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma today visited Lakhimpur district to assess the flood situation. During his visit to Nauboisa, the Chief Minister interacted with affected residents and assured that all necessary supports will be extended by the government. Mr. Sharma also reviewed meeting with NIPCO officials of Ranganadi Power Plant at Lilabar in Lakhimpur to assess the worsening flood situation caused by the release of water from the dam situated at Arunachal Pradesh. Embankments, roads, bridges and other infrastructure have been damaged by flood waters in many districts across the state. The river Brahmaputra and its tributaries Dhansari and Koipali are following above danger level. Aminul Joddar, Akashvani News, Guwahati.
In Sikkim, 3 army personnel lost their lives while several others are missing after massive landslides struck the Indian Army's camp at Chatan in Mangan district last evening. Our correspondent reports that rescue efforts are underway by the Indian Army to evacuate those trapped under the debris despite challenging weather.
So far, 4 individuals have been rescued with minor injury, while the mortal remains of 3 brave personnel have been recovered. Teams specially trained for high-altitude rescue mission continue to work relentlessly at the site. The search for 6 personnel still missing is being carried out round the clock under extremely adverse conditions. Diliran Dulal, Akashvani News, Gangtok.
In Arunachal Pradesh, orange alert has been issued for 10 districts and yellow alert for 14 districts. In Manipur, breaching of the river bank and overflow was also reported at various places of Imphal East and West districts. In Nagaland, following incessant rainfall, of massive landslide completely cut off National Highway 2 near Kisama under Kohima district, severing the Nagaland-Manipur road link. As we celebrate the success of Operation Sindoor, the nation salutes the valor of Indian soldiers. As a tribute to the armed forces, Akashvani News is presenting a special series. Today we remember Paramveer Chakra awardee, Company Havaldar Major Piru Singh, who made the supreme sacrifice during the India-Pakistan War of 1947-48.
Born in 1918 in Rajasthan, Company Havaldar Major Piru Singh was enrolled in 6 Rajputana Rifles in 1936. In July 1948, during an intense operation in the Titwal sector of Jammu and Kashmir, Piru Singh's company was assigned the task of securing a heavily fortified enemy ridge. Advancing under intense enemy fire, the unit suffered heavy casualties. With most of his section either killed or wounded, Company Havaldar Major Piru Singh pressed on alone. Despite being wounded, bleeding and nearly blind, he continued his assault. After exhausting his ammunition, he hurled grenades and bayoneted enemy soldiers in successive trenches. Just as he moved to attack another post, a bullet struck him in the head. Even in his final moments, he managed to throw a grenade into the enemy trench. Company Havildar Major Piru Singh was posthumously awarded the Paramveer Chakra. Sakleen Akhtar, Akashvani News, Delhi.
A second round of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine was held today in Istanbul, Turkey. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said the aim of the meeting was to evaluate the conditions for a ceasefire, to discuss a possible meeting between the Russian and Ukrainian presidents, and to look at more prisoner exchange opportunities. Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustam Umarev, who headed Kyiv's delegation, announced after the talks that the new prisoner exchange had been agreed to follow up on the biggest prisoner swap of the war brokered at the last round of talks. The Russian delegation was led by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky and Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Galuzin. In Poland, Karol Nawrocki, an independent candidate backed by the opposition Law and Justice Party, has won the country's presidential runoff election. According to the final vote count released by the Polish National Electoral Commission today, Nawrocki received around 51% of the vote in the presidential race. He defeated the ruling Civic Coalition candidate and mayor of Warsaw, Rafał Trzaskowski, who garnered over 49%. Born in 1983, in Gdansk, Nawrocki is set to succeed the incumbent president Andrzej Duda, whose second and final term ends on the 6th of August this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded the performance of the Indian contingent at the recently held 2025 Asian Athletics Championships in South Korea. Indian athletes delivered a powerful performance at the championships, winning a total haul of 24 medals, including 8 gold, 10 silver and 6 bronze. The Prime Minister also congratulated chess player Gukesh for winning against Magnus Carlsen in round 6 of Norway Chess 2025. The Women's ODI World Cup 2025 will be held in India and Sri Lanka from 30th September to 2nd November. The International Cricket Council ICC today announced the schedule for the tournament in Colombo. The 13th edition of the tournament will be held at 5 venues across India and Sri Lanka. The 8-team ICC Women's Mega Event will be played in Bengaluru, Guwahati, Indore and Visakhapatnam in India and in Colombo, Sri Lanka. The competition's final will be held in Bengaluru or Colombo on the 2nd of November this year. India, Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Pakistan are teams which will compete in the Women's World Cup. In a bilingual live phone-in program, Public Speak tonight at 9:30 p.m., we will bring an insightful discussion on protecting consumers from dark patterns in digital commerce with Anupam Mishra, Joint Secretary in Department of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and Pushpa Girimaji, activist and specialist in consumer law, rights and safety. During the program, the listeners will have the opportunity to ask the experts questions about identifying dark patterns and malpractices in digital commerce, staying vigilant and reporting such issues. To participate, simply dial the telephone numbers 011-2342-1050 and 011-2331-4444 from 9:30 p.m. onwards tonight. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is emerging as a leading force in the global space and aviation sectors, addresses plenary session of the World Air Transport Summit in New Delhi. India and Paraguay to further strengthen ties in many sectors, including clean energy, green hydrogen and biofuels. Centre notifies guidelines for scheme to promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars in the country. Heavy rain disrupt normal life in northeastern states. Relief and rescue operations underway. Second round of Russia-Ukraine peace talks conclude in Istanbul. Both sides to explore more prisoner exchange opportunities. Independent candidate Karol Nawrocki wins Poland's presidential elections. And in International Cricket Council announced a schedule for Women's ODI World Cup to be played in India and Sri Lanka. And that is all in the news at 9. Good night.